Ignore it. Now, that's what Rush has to say about some new swing state polls.
Folks, a couple of polls out there today that just are outrageous. And one is the CBS New York Times poll. The other is the Washington Post poll. And I'm telling you, they are irresponsible. They are designed to do exactly what I have warned you to be vigilant about, and that is to depress you and to suppress your vote. These two polls today are designed to convince everybody this election is over. It's not over. It hasn't even really begun yet. I don't want anybody thinking this is over. I don't want anybody falling for this. There could be a lot of reasons for this. Voter suppression, voter depression, set up the possibility of allegations of voter fraud. They have all these polls with Obama running away with this, and they say Romney wins, and guess what happens? People blow a gasket on the left. There's also early voting going on right now. And we know that this stuff is not reported to reflect opinion. They're trying to shape opinion with these polls.
So is Rush right? Are these polls slanted towards Democrats and towards President Obama? Let's bring in our expert panel, Bob Cusack of The Hill, Steve Hayes of The Weekly Standard, and Michael Crowley of Time Magazine. Steve, first to you. Number one, are the polls slanted? And number two, the second part of the question is, does that suppress the vote?
Well, look, I think if you're just looking at the New York Times CBS poll and you believe everything that you see in the polling of Florida and Ohio today, the results that came out today, yes, I think they oversampled Democrats. I don't think there's any question about it. It would mean a record turnout for President Obama in those states to produce the kinds of results that we saw. Now, that doesn't mean that these polls are useless. I mean, I think if you look at, if there's consistent oversampling inside a poll, like the CBS New York Times poll has been pretty consistently over the last three polls, plus 8 or 9 for Democrats. So you can see trends inside of that, even if they're oversampling. So they're not useless, but they also, if that's all you're looking at, they don't give you a very good sense of exactly where the race is right now.
Michael.
Well, Greta, pollsters want to get it right. I mean, I think the idea that there's a conspiracy, that they are trying to root for one side, that they're trying to depress one side's turnout, to me, it just doesn't make sense. I just find it impossible to believe. They want to get it right. And, you know, these polls do suggest a margin that I think is pretty wide. I think even Obama campaign operatives would tell you some of the numbers in those last two polls that Steve mentioned are probably not realistic. But people can look at websites that will average out several polls, and so you'll get the outliers on one side, the outliers on the other side. They'll give you a more realistic picture. So yeah, those numbers were probably a little off the mark because some polls are going to be a little bit outside the margin, some are going to be on the other side. So look at a sample that aggregates a lot of them. It's a bunch of different professionals doing their best job. It's not a conspiracy, and I think it averages out to a picture that's pretty accurate, which is probably an Obama national lead of a couple, small handful of points.
You know, Bob, I think Rush Limbaugh talks about it might suppress your vote if you saw it. I think that if I were looking at a poll and suppose my candidate were way ahead, I might not go vote the other way because why should I spend my afternoon? My candidate's going to win anyway.
No, that's right. I mean, Greta, I agree. I think that it works both ways. If your candidate's way up, then you may say, well, I'm not going to go. I do think Rush has a point. I don't think that Obama is up double digits in these states because these polls are assuming 2008 turnout for Obama. I don't think he's going to get that. The energy of 2008, I don't think we'll ever see again. Do I think Obama's up in these battlegrounds? Yes. Do I think he's up 8, 10, 12 points in these battleground states? I don't think so.
Well, I guess the debate then becomes all the more important.
Yeah, I think the debates do matter. I think it's an opportunity for Mitt Romney to move these polls in his direction. I don't think that if you're the Romney campaign, you can't be relying on them to change the trajectory of the race, but they'll matter.
And think how important the comments after the debates when everyone says who won, who didn't, as people listen. That's also equally probably dangerous and important.
Although
anyway,
historically, debates have had limited effect, so
we'll see this time. Panel, thank you. Straight ahead, Mayor Mia Love could be the first black female Republican in Congress, and now you